What is up, everybody? It's Seaneleous coming to you from the basement arcade. So, the day has finally come, sadly enough. One of the arcade machines is not working. Of course, it turns on, but it's the joystick that's not working. Sound, everything works great, but the ship only goes right. Does not go left. And minimally goes left. Oh, there it goes. It's starting to go left. But you know what that's a sign of? It gets stuck a lot of the times. The fire button's working. Everything's working. It just doesn't go left. It's going left now, but it gets stuck. So, just to play it safe, I'm going to replace the joystick. Now that I've powered it off, the great thing about these Arcade1UP units is that they're pretty easy to disassemble if you need to do repairs. So there's the 4 screws right here, so we'll unscrew these. Good old trusty screwdriver, red screwdriver here. Screws are out. We will unscrew the ball top. Take these components off and put them off to the side. Now this will lift right out. This is the control deck portion. Now the control deck is all in one. Of course, it has this IDE ribbon cable. Take this out. This connects the control deck circuit board to the printed circuit board with the ROMs on it that's located in the monitor. We will take the control deck and we will start our maintenance on the bar. I was fortunate enough to get a Galaga with the control deck cover that came with its stock, so I don't have to worry about the paint wearing off on this thing. So now that we have this taken off, I will flip this, and as you will see, there's where the ribbon cable was connected, and there are 6 screws on the back of here. Arcade1UP recommends putting this on a towel, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a towel and put it on here, and I'll be back. On the towel, I will take these screws off. There's 6 screws here. I'm not going to do a video of me taking off the screws, but that's what I'm going to do right now. All the screws are taken off of the control deck. Now this panel will lift right up and will expose the circuits below. Now, as you can see right here, here's the joystick, the clamp, and you have the 2 lead wires that are soldered onto the side, and it's leading into the circuit board that is where the ribbon cable goes into. You got the speaker, and you got the 1-player and 2-player buttons and the fire button, and they're all going into various ports on this Galaga Pac-Man Space Invaders control deck circuit board. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove, there's 4 little clamps here, so we're going to remove this clamp from the joystick to expose it. So this was on here before. I unclamped these from the 4 plastic holders, and now you can see each side has a dip switch. These red buttons right here, see where that makes the sound? That is what causes the ship to go left or right based on these 2 pieces right here. So here's a piece here, and here's a piece here. So, as a little spoiler alert, so previously, actually, I watched another video of the Galaga, before I get into the spoiler, I watched a previous video of the Galaga joystick repair, and in that video, there were little metal pieces that were around here. This is a different joystick, so I can't bend the metal pieces to make it so that these will actually toggle the sensors. Not that that would do anything anyway, because here's the spoiler alert. Spoiler alert is I already tried to fix this on my own and tried to mess with the soldered, because I figured that these leads weren't tight enough, and then that was the issue. But after further evaluation, it seems that the issue is from within the dip switch itself. So what that means is I figured the best course of action would be to just replace the whole joystick. So that's what's in this box. On Amazon, I purchased a replacement Sanwa joystick, which is actually going to be higher quality than whatever this is, for 25 bucks. And here's the replacement joystick right here. So I'm going to take this joystick, let's get it out of the plastic so you guys can see it better. I'm going to take this joystick and replace it, replace this, and should be in business. Oh yeah, this already feels a lot better than this one. All right, keep you posted with the installation. First, I got to take this one out. Now that this 4-pin connector cable is off, now it's time to take the joystick out. Now, there's these 4 screws right here, so I'm going to unscrew these, and I've heard that it's difficult to take the panel out, so we will see. So now that the screws are off, there's a lot of glue under here, so should use a box cutter, as Unqualified Critics recommended, to pry this off. So that was pretty easy. Wow. In his video, it was a lot more difficult, but there wasn't much glue on here, so this came right out. And there's where the joystick goes. So now that this is out, and we have the new Sanwa joystick, we will install this and have it take its place. As you can see, what's interesting about this is Galaga's left and right joystick only, and yet this is a 4-way joystick. So just the way it's installed, the way that the board is designed, you know, it's still a 4-way joystick. Like the new Sanwa one I got is a 4-way, even though it's only going to go left and right. So when I put the new joystick in, the holes from the plate do not align to the holes that have been drilled for the old joystick in place. Now, the video that I watched from Unqualified Critics suggested that I unscrew the plate and put the new plate on here. But after looking at this, you know, I prefer to just keep this plate on. Plus, I tried getting these screws off this plate, and there's glue that's really wedged in. And so I was pretty much at the point of stripping these screws. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to drill new holes, because there's another video I watched in which they just drilled new holes. So that shouldn't be an issue at all. So I got the drill here. Just going to drill some new holes, put this new joystick in. We'll be good to go. After using this trusty drill, it wasn't tough at all. Just drilled 2 small holes. I used the center brackets because the video that I watched about drilling and installing a new joystick used the center brackets. I think it should just be fine. The reason I only wanted to use 2 screws in the center brackets was I'm not quite sure about the cable placement for this joystick, if this is going to be okay or if I have to flip it around for whatever reason. I've never installed one of these before. So we will see. I'm still waiting on the cable. I got that coming in the mail. So I'm going to edit all these together, so it'll be poof, magically appear to the next scene anyway. But I did order a cable from DIY Retro Arcade. So the reason why I did that was the stock cable that came with the Sanwa joystick was this, and so this would click into the pins here, and then it had all these loose ribbons with you know, no endpoint. So in a video that I saw, somebody had cut the wires on the joystick one here. Actually, no, it was the one on the stock, and they just spliced the wires together. So hypothetically, I could just cut these wires and splice them together and just tape them up, but I just opted to get the cable because I felt like the connection would be stronger that way. So got the cable coming. Once that comes, I'll install it, and then I'll put the joystick into the board, and that's right here, the left and right connection. I won't use the down or the up because it's only a 2-way, and we'll get going once that's the next step. All right, everyone, so this cable just arrived from DIY Retro Arcade. This will switch out this cable that came with stack with the Sanwa joystick. So this will now be compatible with this control board right down here. You can plug it in with the Arcade1UP board. Recap, this is the old joystick. The left and right wasn't working. One of these was just not working properly. It's probably the something to do with inside the mechanism. So I'm going to plug this in, and we will see if it works. So I've just plugged in the Sanwa adapter cable from DIY Retro Arcade into the right-left port on this control board for the Galaga Arcade1UP control panel. Now I am going to seal this back up, put this cover back on. I will put the screws back on, and I will hook the control panel back up with this IDE cable, and we will be good to go. So update on the Galaga joystick installation, the Sanwa Galaga joystick. So a couple things that were wrong when I tested it. I didn't actually record it, but the first is both of these need to be plugged in. I learned, and also this was labeled when I got the cord from DIY Retro Arcade. This was labeled as up down, and yet I had to plug it into the left-right port to get it to work, and I plugged the up-down into the other port. Even though it's Galaga, and it's only a two-way. So the last problem that I encountered is that the joystick is installed upside down. So when I went to play Galaga, the ship moved inverted. So when I moved left with the joystick, the ship went right, and when I moved right, the ship went left. And that just basically means I need to unplug this, unscrew both sides, and turn it around so that this port is on the other side. When I was originally installing the joystick, I wasn't sure if that was going to be a factor, so I just installed it this way for the reason that I didn't know how long the cable was going to be, so I wanted to keep the distance between the port and the board as short as possible in case the cable didn't reach. So now I'm going to have to flip it, and gauging the length right now, I hope it's long enough, so we will see. Progress. I'll keep you posted with the progress. So I turned the joystick upside down, screwed it back into the holes I drilled, made sure the cable is long enough so it does reach. It fits, plugs in okay. Now I'm going to do the final test. This should do it. So now after all of these additions, this should be working 100%. Let's see if all this work pays off. Things up, I have the plastic piece that goes over the controls. Make sure the port's out. 3 screws here, 3 screws there. I'll screw everything back up, and we'll have the control deck all back in one piece. The 6 screws are now screwed into the control panel here. Now the control panel's all back in one piece. As you can see, flip it over. This is the new joystick, how it's installed. Now I'll put the clear plastic covering over the control deck to protect the paint from wearing off during aggressive gameplay. I will then drop the washer over the joystick here and screw in the ball top so that this is all one unit. The control deck will be all one unit. I'm going to take the control deck back over to Galaga and install it. As you can see, here's the gap where the control deck was. Put it back in. I'm going to have to turn this off so I can secure the IDE cable, but after I do that, I'll screw it back in and it'll be good to go. Back in the basement arcade, just installed the Galaga control deck with the new joystick, just about to turn it on for the first time. Let's see if all of that work paid off. This is a new Sanwa joystick. Just to recap, the old joystick was not responding. When I would go left or right, it would start to lag, it would glitch up, and so I took it apart and I tried messing with the wires, thinking I could resolder it, but I decided just to replace the joystick instead because this is a much nicer joystick. So far, it's working great. Let's get a game started. Dude, all right, the joystick is working great. New joystick installation successful. No more lag when you move the ship. The joystick, when you move it, is much smoother than the old joystick ever was. So I think the new joystick installation on Galaga was a good idea regardless, but it definitely needed to happen because the old joystick was broken. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, welcome to the arcade.